Okay, so with all the things going on in the world, I'm sure that you were all really concerned to watch my genuine facial expressions as I watched the preview for the upcoming Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. So anyway, God bless you all. I hope you all are doing wonderful. Um, and I want peace and love and happiness for everybody out there on this beautiful planet, and for troublemakers to stop making trouble. And after that, I just want a decent Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. I can't change the world. I can't even change the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, but I can share with you my reaction to this film. It's one of the last things I really give a damn about coming out, like, ever. Film is mostly dead. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Here we go. I'm going to watch it and forget I'm holding this iPhone, and I won't over exaggerate my expression at all, I promise. It's all genuine, 100%. Let's give it some volume. No, it's good.
So Harlow is a ghost town.
We have a vision for this place. All it needs is young blood.
And a hip hop soundtrack.
This is a chance for people to start fresh somewhere.
All right, the characters suck.
Somewhere safe. Hey guys, you did see this.
It's probably, I should be fair. Maybe they don't. They probably do.
What are you doing in our house? Whoever shouldn't be here.
This is horror studio.
I'm afraid you're all pressed back.
50 years I've been waiting for this night. Just to see him again. Leatherface. Looks like it's you that he wants.
I'm not gonna let him kill you. Fear no evil, fear no evil.
That's stupid. It made me laugh though. Yes. Okay, I'm still 50-50. Looks like it could be rad. All right, so probably okay. So here's the thing. Yes, I want to quit. Why do you ask me to confirm? I'm done. I made up my mind. Okay, so it's a lot to chew on this franchise. You had the original, which was just like, I don't need to tell you fellow fans, but I mean, for those that aren't familiar and just want to know, it was pure horror. It was just one of the most intense things. I mean, to this very day, everyone's tried to catch up with that. I mean, there have been horror films of equal measure intensity. There are some fantastic films out there that exist. I mean, are on a level playing field. Not many. I mean, The Exorcist. Maybe The Evil Dead. Forgive me, I said maybe. I honestly think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just such a horrifying experience. Did it? It's just such an incredible film. And then the second film was, I mean, why I watch it today, the last time I watched it, I finally admitted, I said, this really is fairly goofy. I still love it, but it's like so silly in so many ways. But is a kid who found a way, when I was in sixth grade and I found a way to watch it, it was horrifying. But one thing, Also, I want to talk. I think it was. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It was Wildstorm released the Texas Chainsaw Massacre comic books. There have been several, that got the rights to do Leatherface comics, but they did one called Raising Cain. I don't know the creators' names, but they did something so good. They had such a good idea to expand the family. Unlike this, it's a Leatherface, you got one killer. I say you got to add some layers to it. That was one of the things of the first two films is, it's not just Leatherface. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface is, obviously the iconic crazy killer. But then you had Nubbins or the Hitchhiker. You had Chop Top, the Cook, Drayton Sawyer, what have you. Raising Cain, the comic, got into all the kin. There are a lot of maniacs. And I guess to be fair, we had that in the remakes. Their extended family. So this I'm looking at, you just got Leatherface, and like I really hope I don't watch this and there's no little surprises in here. He needs to have some crazy cousins or uncles or aunts. Maybe you don't agree. I really think that to carry it on. I think you need to give more layers to the Sawyer legacy. He's got to have some nieces and nephews or something. I mean, because you can't put this mythology, this gruesome mythology on just one. Even though he's the most iconic, that's just one thing that's. It's just my opinion. I don't know. Sorry, babbling like a fool. It looks pretty awesome in a lot of ways. The characters look really annoying. Maybe not the most annoying I've ever seen. I should give them a fair chance. It's something about them just already irritated me. That's how most people are in these slashers. But one thing I'll say about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the second one, and even the third one. Say what you will about the quality or how important those films were or weren't to you. The characters seem more realistic and not these really kind of annoying, snarky, snotty, early 20-somethings. The victims, if you will, in the original film were young, but they were real. That's another thing I really liked about that film. They just felt like real people. And a lot of these cookie cutter characters these days they fall so flat. I don't give a damn about them. They're almost just background. They come out there and they talk and they say some generic silliness. And I mean, you could argue what the characters in the original were talking about was just they were having lighthearted arguments over the authenticity of astrology and just chatting amongst themselves, and it just felt very real. And I kind of liked them, and oh Lord, just going on and on with thoughts. What else? Yeah, neat extended family. I'll say one thing I know is getting into the more kind of maybe not supernatural so much, just a little more hard to believe, but making it. But one of the things they did in the second one and the first one, really, they had the grandpa. And even it was, I think grandma was supposedly just a corpse, but if we link 2 to 1 and say that's canon or what have you, then grandma was still barely alive, and they looked like corpses, like mummies, but they were still living. And it kind of touched on how they were eating human flesh and drinking blood. In a little bit, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not a supernatural film or a vampire film, but if you want to just we're getting to the point you have to exercise your imagination a little bit. You need to go a little bit beyond what is acceptable as a realistic horror film. I think to make sequels, you got to get into the idea that these guys just live longer because they're drinking blood. That sounds silly, but I'd like to see more and more Leatherface, good ones preferably. But I just love this franchise so much. I'm one of those guys that say I'll take the sequels, throw them at me. Just it'd be great if you could make them enjoyable. It'd be great. So I'm all for Leatherface going into the future, but let's be real. You can't have an elderly chainsaw killer and make it believable. You can't, you can still be plenty alive at 70, 80, even 90 in your mind, but you can't be like, no matter how much you might want to, and you check yourself into an institution if you have any desire to do this. No matter how much you want to, you can't be impaling people with chainsaws when you're 80, 90 years old. You're just going to want to take it easy. So we have to get into a slightly more fantastic realm for the sake of sequels and expanding the story. And some people just say leave it alone. I'm just that guy that, like I say, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre so much. I'd like to see more. It's just like Dawn of the Dead. It ended and it was just so great. People are like, I just want more. And many zombie movies came and answered that, and some sequels and what have you. And once again, the double-edged sword of that is you get more. It's not necessarily going to be good. Maybe you can take the good with the bad. I don't know. I've attempted to write outlines for, I wanted to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre comic. Me and 8 million other artists out there. Apparently, there's so much artwork floating around out there and scripts and ideas. I wanted to take a shot. I heard Bill Moseley was trying to buy the rights to the Chop Top character. Man, I love that character so much, and that just kind of that would really, and I guess speaking of expanding on it, that's what I'm saying. You can do. I love the idea of spin-off stories. I did a couple sample pages of a Chop Top comic. And I love that character was just so great and so zany. It'd be great. It'd be just wonderful to expand on his story and once again connect to expand the family. What they're up to today, whether they're still making chili for unsuspecting consumers from disappeared Texans, missing Texans, or what have you. I like the idea of the family being involved, being maybe there's some that are even, you got different facets of the family. You have some that are a little smarter, not quite as daffy, totally evil, but you could go back and get into the history of where they decided to start eating people and drinking blood, and just how crazy they went from inbreeding, and there's all kinds of really morbid and wacky and insane and entertaining and horrifying ideas you could do with that. It's just a really fun franchise. I mean, a clan of cannibalistic backwater hillbillies is just too much fun. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. So many thoughts bouncing around my head about Texas Chainsaw. This preview, it did look pretty cool. I hope it's good. I really do. I mean, I hope they've done something good with it. I wasn't really blown away by the remake of The Evil Dead. I barely remember the thing. I remember I didn't really care about the characters. Had some cool ideas in there. Even the laughs were kind of enjoyable. There was a moment there, it gave me a little flashback of Darth Vader just kind of hacking his way through the rebels at the end of what was that, Rogue One? I don't know. That movie that got like really good at the end, but was just whatever up until the climactic scenes. Yeah, just looking back, just as a fan, just I guess a few more things I could say. I enjoyed Texas Chainsaw 3D. It was dumb as hell. The ideas were ridiculous and stupid, but learning about what the filmmakers went through with the production and just some of the bureaucratic nonsense that it seems like they took so much wind out of their sails and they just managed to get this movie through and get it made, but they had to make so many compromises just to have it just to get the thing done. It's no wonder it was a mess. The ideas were ridiculous. They painted the it was just so dumb as painting Leatherface as a kind of a misunderstood anti-hero, and all the people he were hacking up were those mean old bigoted Texans waving their rifles and guns all around. It's just such a dumb idea. To kind of twist it around like, oh, the whole time, those guys kind of deserved it, and they came on his property, and he's kind of simple. He eats people, but they're the bad ones. I'm like, really, okay. And then you had the prequel, which I really enjoyed it. Just the Leatherface prequel, going back to young Leatherface. And I'll say, if you want to check it out, I'm telling you, I guess no one liked it. They're selling the Blu-ray for chump change last time I checked. I mean, I loved it. The only thing that I just couldn't swallow was the twist. I was watching, I said, really? I said, okay. I got to the end, I said, I really enjoyed that. And to this day, I did. I don't think it's going to get tons of repeat viewings, but I thought about it. I said, and once again, I know Ramblin' is a geek. I know this looks kind of pathetic, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it changed so many lives. It's just such a tremendous film. I've said before, I'm like a Trekkie is to Star Trek. Is what I am to Texas Chainsaw Massacre is what a Trekkie is to Star Trek. I just love it. And it's a big deal to me as a geek, and you can shake your head at me, but right before you go and jump around and dance about a football game and throw on your jersey, and how many hours of your life has that ruled you? So don't be a hypocrite. Let me be a geek in peace. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at our turtle. Jesus, take a break just to say hi to Cheesecake. I know that's not what you signed up for if you click this link. I'm not even sure this is obviously not rehearsed. I'm just rambling like a fool. So I think there's some ideas that would really do good for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or a spinoff. Bottom line, I think Leatherface, I hope this film is great. I hope it's awesome. I hope Leatherface can go into the future. But once again, I got to tell you, the only way we can really that can really be done is you got to get into how the blood and eating humans for his whole life. As silly as it might sound, you got to get a little fantastic. You got to get into why that's it prolonged his life and makes him as healthy and strong as an ox in his 70s or 80s, just similar to how Grandpa was, a mummy and still swinging a hammer around. And you can stretch it a little bit with Leatherface. Say, well, he's Leatherface, so he gets to be, he doesn't really turn into a mummy. He's going to be tough, and for at least another 50, 60 years or however much life this franchise has left in it. Hope enough, I get it, if it dies off, that's too bad. But at least one more movie, that's cool. I'll take 6, 7 new movies, just to make them good, and get some new ideas. That's one more thing I'll say. If this just rehashes the original, if this is just like, hey, here's some more dumb kids, they're getting into they invade this dude's territory. They're all going to get offed. Okay, I guess the big deal now is Sally's back. So that's actually pretty exciting. Just from what I watched, I think this actress, I think she's got it. I think that. Yeah, I should have said that. She looked pretty cool. She kind of had it. I felt it. I said, I know that's not the actress. Rest in peace. But she had it down, I think. It is actually pretty amazing to think what happened to her afterwards. I better say, I hate how disconnected all these movies really get from the originals. It's such a, all this stuff goes that just doesn't let the other sequels exist. And I always just said, well, you really got to stretch your imagination. I think I heard the guy who conceived of Texas Chainsaw 3D. I think he had the similar ideas. And even I read something from one of the creators of this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think he said something to the extent they don't want to just say those films don't exist, even though a lot of people are saying this is a direct sequel. It sounds like he said I think I recall him saying something like he doesn't want to say these don't exist. They all have an influence, but it's just tricky. I think he said something that I've always kind of felt myself. And I'm totally paraphrasing. I haven't read it recently, but it was something to the effect of, yeah, sorry. It's a stretch of the imagination to let them all exist and still have a new movie. And it's true because I mean, you had the remakes. Leatherface gets his hand chopped off. Well, now he's got a hand. So Chop Top and Drayton Sawyer were pretty much killed. Never totally confirmed about Chop Top in part 2, but and as far as I know, they never brought them back anyway. But I would not want for them to really be dead. That's getting away from my original point. That's yeah, Leatherface died in part 2. Yeah. Yeah, he's all of a sudden he's back in part 3, and you even had the zany cousin brother or whatever. I think he was supposed to be what Chop Top was. I don't know. And that dude in part 3 seemed a lot like he was supposed to be one of those brothers, maybe some cousin. Oh yeah, in Texas Chainsaw 3D, their house burned down. The farmhouse burned down. And actually, they were the ones who. Yeah. Wait. What am I even saying? The producer of that film, I thought he said he didn't really want to rule out all the other sequels. But maybe I'm remembering wrong, because when you take into account he burned down the farmhouse, and Drayton Sawyer gets blown away by a shotgun or something, shotgun blast. Grandpa does. Yeah, so that totally blows part 2 out of the water, because this film supposedly, that scenario at least took place directly after right after the events of part 1. Yeah, what a mess. I've gone on for 22 minutes. That's ridiculous. I don't know if I'm going to share this. If I do, if anyone's watching, hey, great. Anyway, this is exciting. I might watch that one more time for good measure, but I really better shut my mouth. And, I'm sorry. I know I sound like a jackass, but it's, when you're having these conversations with your geeky friends and you just kind of go on a tirade and you become a jackass. Well, that's me right now. As I'm lit up. I love that. I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Love Leatherface. I hope Bill Moseley gets the rights to Chop Top. And I wouldn't mind doing a comic story of TCM sometimes. If you're Kim Hinkle and you like my thoughts, give me a call. And yeah, I really would. I got some promotions. I would be very happy to make some time to do something like that for sure. Even just a comic. If anyone wants me to write a script for a movie, for a spinoff or something, I'll try. No, I'll do it. I know a million other people are saying that, so yeah, I know that's a long shot, but I would if given the opportunity. Love y'all. Peace. Bye.